Okay, I'd like to call to order the Fort Wayne Public Transportation Corporation Board of Directors meeting for Thursday, August 20, 2026. Roll call of members. All members are present with the exception of Nelson Coates. First item is the adoption of the agenda, and I will accept a motion in that regard.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
We have a motion by Jesse, a second by Raleigh. And since Kyle is on, I'll do the roll call vote. Any further discussion? Seeing none. Charisse.
Aye.
Raleigh.
Yes.
Nina.
Yes.
Jesse.
Yes.
Kyle.
Yes.
Okay, show that is adopted as presented. Next item is the reading, correcting, and approval of the minutes from previous meetings. I believe we have the July 16th Board of Directors minutes, as well as the Executive Governance Committee meeting August 5th, and the Planning and Development Committee meetings, both from July 21st and August 11th.
Move to approve. Second.
I have a motion by Charisse, a second by Raleigh. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll call the question. Start with Kyle.
Yes.
Jesse.
This is for the three reading correction, right?
I'm sorry. Yes, this is for the minutes that was for the different dates that are presented there, and I agree.
Oh, for July.
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Yes, I agree.
Nina.
Yes.
Raleigh.
Yes.
Charisse.
Yes.
Okay. Show that as all those is adopted as presented. Next item is item 4, Board Committee Reports. Executive Governance Committee has indicated the committee met in executive session on August 5th. Next scheduled meeting is September 21st at 3:30. External Stakeholder Relations Committee, Jesse.
Yeah, we decided to not meet this time, and the next meeting will be September 21st at 3:30.
Thank you. Performance Oversight and Monitoring Committee, Nelson is not here. Yes, there hasn't been a meeting since the last time I was there now. I think did we cancel that as well? I think we did. We had one scheduled a couple of weeks ago. There was nothing on the agenda. So as indicated there, the next one scheduled is November 16th. Planning and Development Committee, Charisse.
We did meet twice, primarily related to budget and strategic planning. Minutes are in the packet, and the meeting isn't until November unless we need to meet again.
Thank you. And the Transit Planning Committee, John.
Yes, the TPC did meet this week, August 10th, or last week. The committee discussed the transit component of NERC's long-range plan, and then agency updates were shared. Also, the June minutes were distributed, and I've shared those with the board.
Thank you. Next item is the General Manager CEO report, John.
Well, hey everyone, good evening. If you've been following the news, earlier this week, Citilink made an announcement regarding a leadership transition. And so I'm going to be moving on in October. I want to assure the board and employees and the community that Citilink can continue to operate our services. We're going to be looking to be able to sustain the organization. We're really well positioned to be sustainable through this transition. And so I'll be on hand to assist with that through October 9th, which will be my last day. It's going to be hard to move on, and while I'm looking forward to my next chapter, saying goodbye will be difficult. So I'm just not going to do that this month. We'll wait and do it next month. Tonight, we're also going to be looking at the operating and capital budget for 2027. Pleased to let you know that it's a balanced budget for 2027 that preserves services at existing levels, adds new services with new funding, and delivers improved value to the community. Very interestingly, the budget includes a pass-through of $336,000 of federal funding to the City of Fort Wayne Public Works Department. This is to procure new driver training simulators to assist public works employees and Citilink drivers with CDL training and development, an opportunity to collaborate there. NERC was kind enough to transfer federal funding to Citilink so that we can help the city make this procurement. It's cost neutral for Citilink. And I'm really excited to see how this is an example of how we can partner utilizing our expertise with federal funding to help advance city initiatives. And so super excited to see that move on. Once the budget is approved by the board, it moves then on to the city council for review and final approval over the next 2 months. Sharice mentioned the strategic plan update. We've covered that in the Planning and Development Committee. Received some really great feedback from the committee on that. It is being updated after those comments were received. And then once I have those ready, I would like to share them by email with the committee members, and we can discuss whether we want to gather and go over those together, or if you're ready then to maybe bring them onto the board for final review. So we'll try to get that all set up so that the strategic plan can be looked at the September board meeting. And then finally tonight, Nadine is going to be bringing a report on employee satisfaction, which demonstrates an improving internal culture at Citilink. She was kind enough to put together some turnover numbers, turnover and tenure. The context is that it's a challenging labor market, particularly for drivers. You hear stories that, including the city, folks who hire CDL drivers are having a harder time filling and keeping those positions filled. In contrast, Citilink has not had to hire a new driver since May of 2025. And a lot of that has to do with just the very low turnover and the tenure of our employees. So among our drivers, the average tenure is 15 years, each driver. And then it's even higher for folks in the shop, 23 years for mechanics. So that says a lot about Citilink's employment and attractiveness as an employer. And also, I think, how we're improving our internal culture as well. So more will be shared about that a little bit later tonight. That's my report this month, other than to thank Jill for the cookies.
Yay!
Thank you, John. We look forward to giving you a good send-off here in the future. I hate to see you leave, but you left us in good shape, so we're pleased about that. So. Okay. CFO Controller Report. Tasha.
Start here and I'll get up. We'll go over the monthly financials first, which are in your packet for July. For this month, we are still operating within the budget and net earnings are positive before unbudgeted items. Our total expenses were $10.7 million, and that was about $720,000, or 6% less than the budgeted expense of $11.5 million. We are still experiencing cost savings in wages, maintenance costs and contracts, legal services, our paratransit outsourcing as demand has not been as high as we expected, and our pass-through purchase transportation. And that's probably just timing there as far as the savings. We do have them starting to procure some vehicles, our sub-recipients, so you may see that change a little bit. Our total expenses were slightly lower than the prior year due to lower wages and fringes, materials, supplies, legal services, offset by our new access services and insurance costs. And then our revenues were at 11.4 million, which was just short of the budget by 6% due to the lower ridership that we're experiencing, and also lower than expected operating capital expenses. Our revenues were also a little higher than the prior year, fairly consistent, not much difference there. As far as our progress with capital projects, we were at about $500,000 when it comes to our local contribution to capital projects, compared to $645,000. And then the cash position at the end of July was at 4.7 million, which is just a result of normal business activity and the federal drawdown timing. I'll stop there. If there are any questions on the July financials. All right. And we also do have the record of transmittals for July and the interim transmittals for August.
Nice laptop.
I haven't forgotten it yet, but working.
Move to approve the record of transmittals from July 1st to July 31st, 2026, and from August 1st to August 21st, 2026.
We have a motion by Sharice. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion by Sharice, second by Raleigh. Any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, we'll take a vote on approval of the transmittals for July and interim record for August 1st to August 21st. Jesse,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Nina,
Yes.
Sharice,
Yes.
Raleigh.
Yes.
Show those as approved. Thank you. Next item is the authorization of the 2027 operating and capital budget.
worded version that I'm on. Yeah, it's okay. It's the, I don't know if you must have a different version of PowerPoint. So it's the misalignment of my words. All right. We did have the budget, I guess the budget packet in your board packet. But we did want to go over just some highlights from the budget, and I have actually broad opportunity if you have questions on it before we ask for approval. It's been a couple of months of us working on this budget, and so we're happy to present a budget, as John said, that fulfills our strategic goals and also is a balanced budget. So just a reminder now. I didn't really get that. So, you want to help me out, keep opening out, or? Okay. All right, just as a reminder, our current approved strategic goals are financial sustainability, employee engagement, customer and community engagement. We know that we have some draft strategic goals that are out there, but we haven't yet approved them. They'll probably be getting ironed out and coming back to you, I believe, soon. And so they are still very closely aligned with the new ones, which are writer experience, community value, workplace culture, and fiscal sustainability. And so we did consider those things as we developed this budget. As far as other things that we considered, as John said, we do have some exciting new sources of revenue for some different services that we want to give to the community, and we are excited about that with the microtransit service, the Indiana Tech Shuttle, and we did consider those along with the expansion of Van Pool, and we just wanted to make sure that our expenses met those revenue levels that we are expecting. We also considered our current and our long-term fiscal sustainability. Last year, we did a lot of work trying to outsource access services because we did have a structural deficit, and it's still top of mind, but we're not doing that brand of action. We still need to consider that. The market inflation that's occurring right now, we know gas is going up, everything is going up, so we did have to consider that in this budget quite heavily. And then also the fixed route optimization impact that we implemented that earlier this year, and that's going to continue to impact 2027 and beyond. Okay, so we're going to start with revenues here. We're not going to go at a detailed level as we did in our board committee. We probably would not have the time. I'm sure no one wants to be here very late. So we'll try to just go at a category, get some of the significant changes in those categories. As far as revenue goes, you do see that passenger fares are decreasing, and that is as a result, as you continue to see monthly, we are having lower fixed route ridership, and that trend is likely to continue. So that's impacting that line item. Our access ridership is fairly stable, but the fixed route is on a downward trend, and so you do see that represented there. It is offset by the microtransit fares that we're expecting, but that is a decrease there. Other operating revenue, what's in the other operating revenue is the contracts that we have with like Parkview, also includes our paratransit lease income. And so that is increasing, and that's also due to the microtransit, because we will have a contract as well to help support that service. We know that state funding is not increasing, so that stays flat. Our local taxes have improved, or not improved, but are increasing. Typically, they do increase year over year, and this year they did. And so that you'll see that is actually more than a 4% increase when you factor in that property tax cap credit at the towards the bottom. So we're looking at 5 to 6% increase in local property taxes in that effect. The city contributions, we're not be seeing that again in 2027. And then federal funding, you see a 10% increase there, which is good for us. And that's the CMAQ funding that will be coming through for the microtransit, for the expansion of Van Pool, and also that pass-through arrangement that John just spoke about, that will also flow through that line item as well. Other revenue that's listed there that's also an increase And mostly that is expected private revenue that we are looking for to help restore the discounted fare program potentially. So we did put that in there. I know Melissa is working hard on that arrangement. So I'll stop there. Any questions on the revenue side?
Is the microtransit and van pool, who's the champions of that internally? And then additionally, is that revenue that's already been awarded, or is that contingent upon action?
So I'm probably going to pass it off to John, but those funds have already been, I guess, they've been awarded, and we're in the process of obligating them with the FTA.
Okay.
And then I'll let John answer the rest of that. He's the champion of that.
Sure, yeah, so far I've been kind of carrying van pools. Day-to-day operations has been Tierra.
Okay.
And so we'll need to shift that over, most likely between Tierra and Matt. Van pools and then microtransit as well. In the budget, this anticipates these services launching in August. Is that where we at? So there's time for us to get that champion transitioned over and get those planned.
Okay, but is the revenue, it's not contingent then upon like certain actions having to be made, or?
We made ridership estimates based upon using our planning software,
Okay.
and then calculated costs based upon ridership estimates.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
So the revenue will be dependent upon how much expense we end up having. So that could be the demand, all of that, so. All right, so that's on our revenue side, and then on the expense side, we also go over it by category compared to the prior year here. As you see, we have a total expense level at $1,532,918. And just some of the changes that are occurring there with the salaries and wages at the top, we see a decrease there. And that decrease is that we are expecting a reduction of FTEs for 2027, mostly through attrition. And so some of that has already been in play just because of the changes in the routes. Offset by that, we have the CBA that is coming to you tonight. And that does include a cost of living adjustment for our union employees. And also, we do have that same level expected for our non-union employees as well. And then we did anticipate the turnovers that are occurring, or that has occurred with our marketing director, with our CEO, so that's included in there as well to offset the decrease in FTEs. As far as fringe benefits, those are also decreasing, and that's in line with the change in the head count. And so that lower head count, lower amount of benefits that will be needed for that. We have had most of our renewal in, but not the largest one, which is our medical care. So there is still an estimate included in there as far as the fringe benefits. Materials and supplies, you see that is one of our largest increases there, a 37% increase in materials and supplies. And that is due to mostly two big factors. One would be the fuel. The gas is going up, so that estimate has increased about 25% per gallon. And then the other factor would be the pass-through for the city arrangement. So that really is the $336,000 that he's talking about, and it'll just be a net effect, be the same revenue to offset it. I won't go over services and utilities. There's not much movement going on there unless you have a question at the end of that. Insurance is increasing 13%, and that's just the current market and our claims activity that's happening. We did get our renewal for that. And so we're pretty confident about that number. Our taxes are decreasing. Most of our taxes are related to gasoline. We don't purchase gasoline much anymore because we're outsourced to access services. Purchase transportation is increasing as well, and that's a pretty significant increase, and that's due to the microtransit service that we're planning, and also the Indiana Tech Shuttle. That's most of that increase there. Miscellaneous expense, that is increasing about 25%. There's probably a little hodgepodge positive changes going on there. One of them being some increased marketing for the microtransit, that will be covered, somewhat by the CMAC funding, by the federal funding. And then we also have just trying to align some of the expenses with the current trend that's happening. For instance, like total transit, our new fare collection, the more we use of the total transit, the more that expense will increase. Lease and rentals are going down. Most of that rental expense is not that large of an expense, but most of that is due to that we had to close our underground storage tanks and lease some above ground tanks. That will go away. That project is set to kick off, I think, at the end of this month or next month. So we will not need that expense anymore. And then vehicle tracking, that's just a lot, realigning that with the current trend in that cost. The last line item here or category is our capital contribution here. You see that it is going down to 2027, mostly because of cost containment. We want to make sure that we didn't have our expenses higher than revenue, so we did try to scale down the capital investment for 2027, and we'll show you that a little later what those projects look like. Is there any questions on this before we move on? Okay, I'll skip these. This is just if there's questions. I have some detailed schedules. This is our five-year forecast, which is also in the packet. And we did want to just briefly touch upon, as you can see for 2027, it's balanced. We are potentially seeing, you could see some savings if we are able to meet all the factors that we have in that budget. For 2028, we do see a structural deficit there that we have to use some operating reserves for. And then 2029 is when we could potentially run out of reserves that we could use, and we would have to figure out what to do with that deficit. So just wanted to show you that. Obviously, factors can change, things can change, next month, but this is just to give us a longer outlook of what's going on with the organization. Capital budget, as I said, we are investing about $840,000 local match, but the total budget is about $4.9 million. Most of that is due to vehicle replacements. If we still continue to go with the hybrid, that's taking most of the budget. We are still working with FTA on the hybrid. We haven't gotten an answer yet. They can be fairly slow with responses to us. So hopefully we can get a response on that, but for right now, we wanted to make sure we included that worst case scenario. If we go with the hybrid, we have bus components, which could be like hybrid batteries or different larger bus components, maintenance equipment, facilities rehab, which most of that is going to be trying to actually do something with our bus wash and get that replaced. We have planning projects, which will be, I think that would be the cybersecurity assessment that we are planning to have. And then the other ones are kind of just normal hardware, software, and bus shelters. This is just a summary of our 10-year plan. I did include that in the packet as well. I won't go over it in detail or anything like that, but it just gives you a visual of what kind of level of capital we may need for the next 10 years, which is almost $60 million. This is before we're doing our facilities needs assessment, so it very well that number could go up based off what they see that we have not identified. And some of the bigger projects that we have identified are, we need a room for the Leesburg admin facility, we're having the central station, HVAC systems for the Leesburg, bus hoist replacements. I'll leave it at that, but there are a barrage of projects that we do have in there. And then that, if there are any questions on what we covered.
Questions?
I think I would just like to let everybody know that we did look over the budget as a part of our planning and development committee meeting, and we didn't take a vote. There was a general consensus that we approve and agree with the budget as it was presented.
Thank you. Thanks for doing all that extra work in your committee. If no one has any questions, I'll accept the motion. For this one, we can't have file vote, but everybody else he's off the hook because the rules don't allow him. I'm not being mean, these rules don't allow him when he's remote to vote on the budget. It's a very specific nuance, so.
It's even worse since it's a state law.
Yeah, you of all people could do something about it.
I move to approve the 2027 operating and capital budget.
I second that.
A motion by Sharice, a second by Nina. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll do a roll call vote. Jesse?
Yes.
Nina?
Yes.
Raleigh?
Yes.
Sharice?
Yes.
So it is adopted. Thank you, everyone, for your hard work getting that to the finish line.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Natasha.
Next item, resolutions. There are none, my understanding. Then we move on to item 8, old business. This is the employee satisfaction survey that John mentioned earlier in his comments. So that may need to give us a summary of that.
Good evening, everyone. An employee survey should be included in your packet for review that I will cover right now. We conducted an employee survey in May 2026. We had 89 out of a possible 103 employees complete the survey. The first question asked is, how likely are you to recommend working at Citilink to your family and friends? This question determines the employee net promoter score, or the NPS. We had 74.16% of employees identify as promoters, which resulted in an excellent net promoter score of 64. Employee satisfaction was 80.9% of employees. This represents a 5% increase from the previous 2 years. We've seen a meaningful improvement in satisfaction this year. A 5% increase tells us that employees are recognizing positive changes within the organization. The survey began in 2024, so we now have 3 years worth of comparable data. Our employee net promoter score was rated as great in both 24 and 25. The decline we saw in 25 occurred during a period of significant uncertainty. There was discussion of the fiscal cliff and possible outsourcing at that time. It is encouraging that the score has not only recovered, but it has rebounded and bounced back to the excellent category. That tells us that employees are responding positively in the direction and the stability that they're seeing within the organization today. 75% of employees identify with Citilink's mission and values. This is important because it demonstrates that our organizational purpose continues to resonate with employees. They consistently identify as serving the community, helping passengers, and having a sense of purpose as important parts of why they value their work. 65% of employees feel that their contributions are valued. While this is a positive majority, comments tell us that there is room for improvement here. Comments suggest that employees receive their strongest sense of support and value from their coworkers and their connection to their community, rather than necessarily the organization or management. This represents an opportunity, and we need to make sure that employees feel the same level of recognition and value coming from the organization and leadership. When we ask employees what they like most about working at Citilink, the answer continues to be remarkably consistent. It's the people and the passengers. Our employees value the relationships they have with one another and the community that they serve. The interesting progression in the comments over the last 3 years, previously employees told us that they wanted more training, more informative meetings, better access to information, and more communication. We've responded to those concerns, we've increased training, and we've made communication a greater organizational focus. Now we're seeing a shift in the conversation, and employees are increasingly telling us that they want to feel appreciated, to feel heard, they want more recognition, greater management visibility, and better and more consistent communication and continued opportunities for feedback. The change in comments is a positive sign. Employees are no longer primarily telling us that they don't have enough information. They're telling us that they want to be more connected to our leaders, and this means the conversation is evolving from basic communication toward engagement and culture. One of the most encouraging changes is what we did not see in this year's comments. Previous surveys included comments of separation, distrust, lack of follow-through. These themes were noticeably absent from this year, and instead employees were talking about continued improvement, management visibility, better communication, and engagement with leadership. Sometimes the most meaningful improvement is what disappears from the conversation, and the concerns around division, distrust, and lack of follow-through that we saw previously are no longer prominent themes. Instead, employees are asking for continued improvement, visible and communicative, and that's a much different conversation. Our survey tells us that we made progress in communicating information. The next step is to build connection. Employees want management to be visible, listen, recognize good work, and create opportunities for employees to have feedback. We already are implementing some of these strategies based on what employees have told us. Leadership and supervisors are increasing their direct exposure with employees in frontline operations. Matt and his team have implemented the ride-along program again, which provides an opportunity to see the employee experience firsthand, listen to concerns, recognize good work, and better understand operational challenges, as well as strengthen relationships between leadership and frontline employees. We are also building an employee communication platform designed to provide employees with a central place to engage, communicate, access information, provide feedback, recognize one another, and celebrate accomplishments. We are not treating the survey as a report that gets filed away. We're using the results to build an action plan. The ride-along program and employee communication platform are just two tangible examples of how we're responding to what employees have told us. Overall, I believe this year's survey tells a very positive story about Citilink. We have an excellent Net Promoter Score of 64. Employee satisfaction has increased by 5%, and our employees continue to identify strongly with our mission, our people, and our purpose. But the survey also gives us a clear direction for where we need to go next. Our employees are telling us that they want to feel more recognized, heard, and connected to management. The important thing is that we're seeing a shift in the conversation. We are no longer hearing the same level of distrust, separation, and lack of follow-through that appeared in previous surveys. Instead, employees are asking us to continue improving and moving forward. Our employees believe in Citilink, they believe in our mission, they believe in each other. Our responsibility now is to make sure that they also feel the organization believes in them. And that is the survey. Does anybody have questions?
I love that there's an action plan that you're using those responses to guide, just to continue with the improvements. I think it's good to see those continuous improvements. And when I was just reading through the continued theme was the appreciation and that connection with management. So I love the idea of the ride-alongs. With that too, I love that Citilink actually does this. That we have data over the last few years showing the improvements. This is good. I don't know a lot of organizations that do anything like this. So this is good. There's room for improvement for sure, but it sounds like you all are working towards that, and I appreciate that too.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to new business, we have the first action item, authorize the amendment to collective bargaining agreement, section 21, wage rates.
All right. The company met with the union and for wage negotiations on August 3rd. The union, the company had accepted the union proposal to increase all classifications by 2.25% for both years of the agreement, which are 2027 and 2028. And the building and grounds position will increase by 2.5% each of those years. The union has approved the proposal, and I am asking for the board to approve the proposal as well. If you have any questions.
Any questions for me? Not any motions by the board?
I move approval.
Second.
I have a motion by Raleigh and a second by Sharice to approve. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we will take a vote. Nina?
Yes.
Jesse?
Yes.
Kyle? May have lost Kyle.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Sharice?
Yes.
Raleigh?
Yes.
Okay, we'll show that it's approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you.
As always, thank you to all the parties for getting it done efficiently.
Well, Steve's with us, so Union President Steve Sustek is here. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you for letting Rachel do this, otherwise we go too much.
There did seem to be, we wondered why it got done so quickly. I said Rachel wasn't there. I said, okay, well, there's nobody billing, so that's what it's doing.
Talk to you about typos later.
Okay, next item is authorization of security camera server replacement procurement. That's a mouthful. Junior.
Good evening. All right, so we issued an expedited RFP for the replacement of our existing facility video surveillance servers. The current servers are approximately 13 years old, and they're well past the end of their useful life. Replacing them is necessary to maintain the reliability, the performance, and the supportability of our video surveillance system. To give you more insight, the RFP was essentially for a complete replacement of our existing video surveillance server, while allowing us to continue using our current cameras. We asked vendors to provide things like servers, software, licensing, installation, configuration, testing, training, and the warranty support needed for a complete turnkey solution. We also included requirements for the storage, system reliability, security, and I wanted to highlight future expansion. So future expansion gives us the ability to add additional cameras as needed. We received 3 proposals in response to the RFP. 2 of those firms proposed essentially identical systems and were competitive with one another. The third firm proposed a different platform, which was also evaluated against the requirements of the RFP. Based on results of the evaluation, Imperial Surveillance received the highest overall evaluation and is our recommended firm to proceed with. Now, Imperial Surveillance, their proposal was $119,000, $159.68, which is within the available budget for this project. We are requesting approval to move forward with Imperial Surveillance, pending completion of the required responsibility determination. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions if there are any.
You say server, are you talking like, is this something that's on-prem, I'm assuming, or at the office, or?
Yeah, so it's all facilities. So we currently, for both locations, we have dedicated servers, one at each location. So we're looking at replacing the server itself along with the software.
And this is used for routing of the on-bus camera and kind of pulling back, or is it just for facilities?
It's facility only.
How many facilities does it cover?
Two facilities. One has, so it's stated in our RFP, one location has 40 and the other has 19.
Cameras?
Correct.
Yeah.
So we're looking at, on one of the locations, we're looking at expanding. We currently have great coverage, but I think there will be a time when we'll need to go back and see where we can maybe expand on, but that's kind of another, something down the road. So just looking at future proofing is definitely something that was considered when writing the RFP.
So, I'm sorry if I.
No, you're fine.
This right. So we're getting, the number of cameras that we are getting, or,
Yeah, so we're looking at reusing our existing cameras.
okay,
So this will be for the servers only. So the
Okay.
servers include like the software. So you can use existing hardware such as cameras
Mhm.
with new hardware. So we made sure that in the RFP, there was a statement for compatibility.
okay,
And we made sure they were aware of what cameras we currently have.
okay. And so you said that this package will allow us to expand the number of cameras that we have eventually.
Eventually, so we wanted to make sure that we didn't limit ourselves, either through storage or the amount of cameras that we can have. So we made sure we covered that. Typically, if we were to go out for exactly what we have, we wouldn't have the capability to expand typically. So we made sure we covered that.
How do you determine like how much more you actually need? And is this annual?
No, so we stated that we were looking for a perpetual license for camera.
Okay,
So there might be some support fees with whoever we decide to go with.
okay.
That's just kind of natural. But as far as the system itself, there's no ongoing price or cost.
I asked you like 3 questions at once, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're
How did you
fine.
decide how much more capacity we actually need?
So some of the calculations were kind of based off of some assessments that we did years ago. So I was part of that team that was looking at possibly adding coverage in certain areas. That's really just pertaining to our Leesburg location. But we also kept in mind having the available storage necessary to pull video whenever we need to, and as long as we need to fulfill those legal requirements as well.
What was the total value?
What was that?
Total value?
Total value was $119,159.68.
Any other questions? Accept the motion.
Motion approved.
Second that.
Have a motion by Jesse, a second by Nina. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll take a roll call vote. Sharice?
Yes.
Ralph?
Yes.
Nina?
Yes.
Kyle?
Yes.
Jesse?
Yes.
She is approved. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And the next item of new business is appointment of an interim general manager, CEO. So we have discussed this and both amongst the board and with the candidate, and we have come to a consensus, which we'll vote on, but of the appointment of Pam to be the interim general manager, CEO, and I think she's well positioned to do that. She's somewhere right behind. She has done this before, and she's willing to do it, so that's half the battle, and we're looking forward to her doing it again. It's pending approval. So I will accept a motion on this point from anybody who would like to make one.
Move to approve. And thank you.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion by Sharice, who was previously the interim CEO and wants to very quickly make sure she's not in, and a second by Nina. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we will take a roll call vote. Kyle?
Yes.
Raleigh?
Yes.
Sharice?
Yes.
Nina?
Yes, absolutely.
Jesse?
Yes.
Show.
Congratulations.
Communications from the public, I don't believe there's any of that for the evening, right? Nothing, no one was filing untimely or untimely. Next item is Board of Directors open discussion. Other than our appreciation to Pam for stepping into this role, does anybody have anything else they'd like to discuss?
I also just want to say, well, you'll be absolutely missed, and thank you for your leadership. But I also want to say that you've been in the hot seat a lot, and Natasha has been next to you in a lot of those rooms and at a lot of those tables. The work that you've had to do as we kind of struggled through some financial things, it has been incredible. I know it's been hard. This is not an easy budget. I mean, even being on the board for, I think I've been here for a couple of years, just trying to wrap my head around these numbers. Sometimes it's crazy. You do an incredible amount of work. You travel to do it. And I just want to let you know, like, I appreciate the work that you do. Like I said, I see you sitting next to John in a lot of these spaces and a lot of these rooms. And I just want to let you know I appreciate you as we approve our next budget. So thank you so much, Latasha.
Thank you.
Anything else? The meeting is adjourned. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.